Have you ever wondered if our home planet Earth might have once had a twin? If not, brace yourself, because what I'm about to tell you next will shock you to your core. There was indeed a planet, very similar to ours, that existed in our solar system not too long ago. But it's no longer here. It's gone. And the shocking part is that this mysterious lost world may have been the true origin of life on Earth. Let's jump in. There are billions of Earth-like planets out there in the Milky Way galaxy. But how many are actually suitable for human life? How many could potentially be habitable or even now inhabited by some form of life? In the search for extraterrestrial life, scientists look for planets in the habitable zone or the Goldilocks zone around their stars, where temperatures can support liquid water, a key ingredient for life as we know it. But what they don't always consider is that life might not need water to thrive. Take Mars, for example. Sure, it's cold and dry now, but new discoveries are revealing that it may have once been a vibrant world with oceans, lakes, and even rain. But Mars wasn't the only rocky planet that formed in our solar system. Most astronomers agree that over 4 billion years ago, there were at least 2 rocky planets roughly the same size as Earth orbiting the same sun. One of them was probably Mars, but the other one mysteriously vanished from the solar system. And now scientists are finally starting to uncover the shocking truth about what happened to this lost world. It has been named Planet Maldek after the ancient Sumerian term for planet, which means far, far away, and what its exact fate remains a mystery. Geologists believe they've found the key to unraveling the puzzle. The existence of Maldek was first proposed in 1908 by astronomer Percival Lowell, who suggested that a planet about the size of Earth existed between Mars and Jupiter. However, his theory was dismissed by most of the scientific community until 2006, when scientists found evidence of a third body in the outer solar system. This discovery led to renewed interest in the possibility that Maldek could have been a real planet, and according to some scientists, this lost world may have played a critical role in the formation of life on Earth. Geologists studying Martian meteorites have discovered that the ratios of certain isotopes of hydrogen and nitrogen in the rocks are almost identical to those found in Earth's mantle. This suggests that Mars and Maldek may have formed from the same primordial materials. But why? Did they share a common origin? To answer this question, we have to look back 4.6 billion years ago to the formation of our solar system. When the sun ignited, it created a shock wave that blasted through the surrounding dust and gas, clearing a path for the formation of planets. But the sun wasn't the only thing that ignited. The shock wave also triggered the fusion of hydrogen and helium in the cores of smaller bodies throughout the solar system, creating thousands of small stars. Now picture this: a young Earth forming in this chaotic environment, bombarded by asteroids and comets, desperately trying to hold onto its atmosphere. But the newly formed Mars and Maldek were massive and gravitationally unstable. Like bullies picking on the weak kids on the playground, they relentlessly bombarded poor little Earth with rocks and dust, stripping away its atmosphere and leaving it a barren, lifeless rock. But Earth wasn't done fighting yet. With the help of the other small rocky bodies in the inner solar system, it fought back against Mars and Maldek, creating a protective barrier that kept it safe from further attacks. These small bodies included Mercury, Venus, and even the Moon, which is believed to have formed from debris ejected from Earth after a giant impact. Together, they formed a tight cluster of planets that remained relatively stable over billions of years. Except Mars and Maldek weren't just any ordinary planets. They were special. Their interiors contained vast oceans of magma, which eventually cooled and solidified, forming dense cores of iron and nickel. This made them gravitationally unstable, like Jenga towers built to tall. And eventually, the inevitable happened. Maldek collapsed in on itself and vanished, leaving Mars as the only planet with a solid iron core. But Mars didn't escape unscathed. Its orbit was altered forever. It was knocked out of the protective barrier formed by the inner rocky bodies and sent hurtling towards the cold, dark region beyond the asteroid belt. Without the protection of its former companions, Mars became a frozen wasteland, its surface scarred by impacts from asteroids in its atmosphere, stripped away by solar winds. And here we are today, the sole survivors of a once thriving planetary system. We stand on a planet that's been shaped by the forces of chaos, a planet that's endured ancient catastrophes and the loss of its twin. But despite all this, life has found a way to not only survive, but thrive. Yet as we gaze up at the stars and wonder about the possibility of other worlds, we can't help but feel a sense of loss for the world that once was, and the lessons we can learn from it for our own survival. So remember, we are not alone in the universe, even if we feel that way sometimes. Subscribe for more deep space secrets.